What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Cosmic Wonder. I'm your host, Warren Thompson, and as you can see, I am in a hotel right now. Disney has flown me out to Star Wars Celebration to cover it, so if you're a Star Wars fan, be sure to look out for some awesome Star Wars content coming soon. Also, you can follow me on my Instagram, my personal Instagram. It's just Cosmic Warren. I'm going to be taking pictures and vlogging the whole entire time I'm here, the whole entire weekend. But the point of this video, I watched Miss Marvel this morning. I watched the first 2 episodes. This is not a review. There will be no spoilers in this. No spoilers at all. I can't do an official review till maybe next week. Not actually sure of the actual day, but this is just my reaction to the first 2 episodes. This is an interesting one. I basically put this kind of around Hawkeye, and I'll explain what that means. I think most people know that I kind of hold Loki on like a pedestal. That's my favorite. That's my favorite Disney Plus show. And I'm going to talk about how this one's different. And I think that a lot of people are going to like it, and I think that a lot of people aren't going to like it. But whereas I feel like with Marvel recently, we've kind of had like a split down the middle with the fandom, like people either really liking something or people really not liking it. I think we're gonna have people really liking it, people not liking it, and people who are just sitting there in the middle that go, yeah, it's an okay show, it's fun, it's entertaining, and I can watch the whole entire thing. And yeah, I think we're gonna have that section for this show. And not to say that we don't have it for other shows, but I think the majority of people might actually sit in this kind of middle section for this show. And let me explain what I mean. Miss Marvel is kind of tailored to a younger audience. Now, I'm in my 30s. I know a lot of you don't really know that. I'm in my 30s. I'm young 30s. And this is a show that's about a high schooler. And we've seen that before with Tom Holland's Spider-Man, right? But it's a very different tone. This is very much kind of like a high school not movie, show. And there's some really good things that come with that. And there's some things that I'm just kind of like, okay. And I'm just going to be honest in my reaction right here. Again, it's not a review, but just my reaction to it is there's a lot of entertaining things. There's connectivity to the MCU, which is something that we didn't get in Moon Knight. And I almost feel like this is like making up for the lack of connectivity, because one thing that is actually really cool about this show is the character Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel. Iman does a really great job at playing her. And what's cool about the character is that she's like a fan of all of these superheroes. She's a fan of the Avengers. So it's pretty much like if you imagine yourself in real life with real heroes like kind of going around, you would be like, this is like, it would be even more amazing than it is for us right now as like fans of these characters who are just in movies. Like, we could actually be fans of these characters who could be real. Like, that's what this show brings, which is a really cool perspective, because she is essentially like us, like these fans, but in her world, the heroes are real, which is pretty cool. But so they have a lot of Easter eggs, and they have a lot of connections, and they, name drop a lot of different Avengers names and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. So there is that connectivity in the show that Moon Knight was missing, and I think a lot of fans they're gonna really like that. They are gonna really like that about this show. The pacing's okay. Again, I'm just gonna be pretty honest about this. Everyone's always like, oh, you love everything Marvel puts out no matter what. And it's like, not true. I really didn't like What If. Hawkeye was okay. I kind of can't even remember the other stuff right now because my mind is focused on Miss Marvel. But I compare this to Hawkeye because I enjoyed watching Hawkeye, but to me it wasn't anything super special. Now again, if you loved Hawkeye, I'm super happy for you. I'm not trying to like put down anybody who liked that. That's not who I am. I always want you to form your own opinion about everything. This is just mine. This is just how I feel. And Hawkeye was entertaining, and there was a lot of parts of it that I loved, but overall I was just kind of like, yeah, I'm here for the ride, right? It's fun to watch. I'm entertained, but nothing like amazing is happening. Like, even when the whole Kingpin thing came out and everything like that, I was like, yeah, that's really, really cool. But then I was like, but like, cool. Like, I hope it means a lot for the future. And that's what I hope for the show. I hope it means a lot for the future. And we already know that it does mean a lot. So here's the thing. You have to watch the show no matter what, because the Marvels are coming up, and you have to know who Miss Marvel is. You're going to have to know her backstory. And I'm hoping, now, again, I've only seen the first 2 episodes, so I'm hoping that by the end of this show, something really, really cool happens, and it connects to the larger picture, which is about to happen, which is the Marvels. I'm hoping that happens. So this show, it has potential, but right now I'm just kind of enjoying the ride. It's entertaining. It's extremely entertaining at some parts, and I do chuckle a lot at the things that take place in the show. I always want to say film, in the show, and there are a lot of relatable moments. And I think for those of you at high school right now, or not too long out of high school, I think you're gonna really kind of enjoy a lot of it. Whereas to me, I just kind of go, yeah, like some of that kind of happened to me in high school, or like, yeah, I had some friends like that happen to. It's all extremely relatable. Which she has her crush, and then she has the best friends, and she's dealing with like her family at home. There are some kind of more tender moments that are kind of not sad, but yeah, kind of sad, where you're like, oh, like, man, aw. I don't want to spoil anything, and I can't spoil anything because the embargo hasn't lifted yet, so that's the best way I can kind of describe that. But it kind of reminds me of Scott Pilgrim versus the World, and you kind of saw that in the first trailer, where you have like comic things popping on the screen, where it's like boom, pow, and like sometimes she'll text, and the text messages will pop up on the screen and stuff like that. That's refreshing, and it reminds me of Scott Pilgrim versus the World, which is one of my all-time favorite movies, and I am not comparing this show to Scott Pilgrim versus the World. I'm not saying it's up there with it, because it's not. Not a lot of things are, but it does give me like the same vibes almost. It's really cartoony at some points, but they do a really good job, actually. I think visually this show is actually pretty cool. And I know a lot of people were worried about her powers, and we were wondering like, well, why did they change them? She's not an Inhuman, and I don't know what the deal with the Inhumans are. Hopefully they come into the MCU at one point in time. But she's not an Inhuman in this, which everybody knew because the writers have been talking about that. But honestly, you don't have anything to worry about. Visually, her powers are pretty cool. And you can see how some shots are like, it looks just like it would in the comics. So if you're worried about that, don't worry about that. They do a really, really good job. Like CGI, we've been talking about CGI for She-Hulk. I didn't think any of the CGI was bad. I wasn't paying that much attention, but I didn't think it was bad. And I was entertained, like really, with some things that were happening with all of the Easter eggs. I will say that I enjoyed episode 1 more than episode 2. We'll see. And the show has introduced some things that I'm like, I want to know what's going to happen. Like, I am intrigued. Like, I'm here for the ride. I'm going to watch the whole thing, obviously. And I think it's going to be a fun time. And I think it's going to be enjoyable. But I think it's going to sit right there in the middle. But who knows? I've only seen the first 4 episodes. Could change a lot. It could have an amazing ending, and that could make it a very, very great show. And again, the 3rd episode could really dive into things, and it could pick up a lot and just be a great show. Who knows? I'm hoping it does, but right now it's kind of sitting there in the middle with me. But look out for my review next week, or whenever the embargo lifts. I will let you all know. But click that bell. Make sure you have notifications turned on. And I'm curious to see what everybody thinks about this, because I think, again, we're going to have that middle section, and then people really love it. People don't like it at all. I'm curious to see everyone's reaction. So be sure to subscribe and watch out for those videos, and comment in those videos when it's finally out what you think of Miss Marvel in general. I will catch you all next time. Woof woof.